Welcome. As I'm sure you've realized by this point, I am not a professional YouTuber, so some of these videos are a struggle to articulate myself and stay on task, not get bogged down with tangents and go nowhere anecdotes. Speaking extemporaneously is tricky, and I'm sure I fail quite a bit. There's a number of people have contacted me and said, this thing you said in your video, and it wasn't that they're misrepresenting me. It's most likely that I'm misrepresenting myself. So bear with me. It's an imperfect process. Maybe at some point I'll start scripting this, but frankly, it's just supposed to be a place to get off a couple thoughts, give you something to think about potentially, and to keep it moving. So I don't know if I could ever get properly as deeply involved as some of the guys who endeavor to be professional YouTubers, but quality will go up eventually. Just stick with it. So the reason I say all that is because today's video may be trickier. Even still, it might be the most difficult one that I've done to this point, because I'm going to be talking about people's jobs, and that's that can read really ugly. And I just want you to know that I don't want anybody to not be able to do the thing that they love in life. I don't want to strip anybody of their job. I just think that perhaps we're reaching that point where maybe changes are necessary. And it shouldn't be forbidden to say, hey, maybe this person, who I'm sure is a good person and I'm sure is a capable worker, may be in the wrong position. And I'm not going to be naming names because I don't need to, right? It's a pretty broad conversation in a lot of ways. It's on the back of this ICV2 article, which is Can Comics Be Saved, right? And the thesis of it seems to be, hey, we're getting bogged down in a lot of different aspects of why comics are struggling right now, but let's just talk about the elephant in the room. The fact that superhero comics, which are the engine of the market, the fact that they're not very good is really hurting. And I think this is fascinating because this was a thing that you couldn't say for a while because everybody presumed you had an ulterior motive. And that was really frustrating to be in that space where people assume the worst of you because you are saying a manifestly true thing. That's what I'm going to be talking about mostly today, which is, let's say that we've found somebody to blame here. Let's say that life was that easy. What are you supposed to do with that person? And when I say do, I mean, what are they supposed to do to themselves, right? There's editors that I think based purely, I don't know them, and I don't have any grudge against them, but based on their work, I think there's some editors who are just, they're not capable, they've demonstrated that they're not capable of delivering good books. So what do you do for that person? Now, do we recommend that person come forward and say, I'm in the wrong place, I'm in the wrong career, I'm sorry that I let you guys down? This isn't a Japanese car company, you know. It's just a reality out here that people are not going to cop to doing something poorly as long as they've still got rent to pay, you know. The reality also is that some of them could never admit they were wrong because of the ego thing. There's one editor I follow online who is, I mean, this person has really driven whole divisions into the ground crash and burn, bodies strewn everywhere, done a terrible job. And that person really does not seem to have any self-awareness that some of the blame might fall on them. So you got the ego thing, and I don't mean that in a judgmental way. All of us want to believe we're doing our best at any given time and want to believe that we're capable. And it's earth-shattering to hear, hey, you might not be any goddamn good at this thing that you just hung your hat on for a decade or more. So that's one aspect. This is, I think, why a lot of the, angry YouTuber set or disgruntled fans out there have been barking up the wrong tree in so many ways. There's nobody listening to you. Again, for the sake of argument, let's say that editors are complicit. Well, they're the ones that would be watching your videos. It wouldn't be upper management watching your videos. We know that editorial watches those videos because they respond in the books, right? So that's a fact. But what about the real decision makers? Well, they're not watching your videos. They're probably driven more by line items than they are like clever lines in a video. You can't roast them into change. Editors that might be watching this, I don't have a grudge against you in this world. I'm sure many of you are completely capable and maybe exemplary. Whatever. It's just I'm trying to have a real conversation about things, and to have a real conversation, you do have to face you do have to confront some type of reality, and maybe just decide on what reality is would be a good start, right? So, how much culpability do you have for bad books? Well, I'd say I blame creators because I think the buck stops with creators, but that's not what they're taught in the Big Two system. They're taught that you are the arbiter at the end of the day, and the buck does stop with you. So as much as I think that you are often saddled with bad creators, I also think that, you're the commanding officer. Let's say that it is you, for the sake of argument. You're to blame. Again, this is simple. It's just a thought experiment because nothing in life is that black and white. But let's say you're to blame. What now? What now? Is it the case that there can be a radical reform from within? Can a whole workforce be retrained? I don't know. I'm starting to sweat because this is a sensitive topic. Again, I promise I'm not advocating for your immediate fire or anything. It's nothing like that. I'm just trying to work through, instead of calling you names, instead of putting everything on your back, just working through where would we go from here? Can we see incremental change that completely alters the industry, that gets us to where we need to go? I don't know. I would love to hear from some of the editors. There's a couple of you that I talk to occasionally that are pretty candid, but anybody that wants to hit me, I will keep your privacy, of course. I'm just curious, I guess that's the point. I know that you can't afford to have ongoing dialogue with fans or even creators. I understand why. I get it. But right now, editorial being a black box where we have no idea what the thinking is, or even really who to pin blame on when we're dissatisfied with the content, is one thing. That's up to y'all. I'm dissatisfied with the market, and I do think that somebody over there has to answer for that. It doesn't mean we got to have their head on a pike. It just means there's got to be some change. So how do we change the black box, firstly? That's tough because you deal with so many lunatics, right? If you start dialoguing with every fan that's got a problem, oh, you're going to end up with some real nuts. So what's the solution? I don't know. I guess leave a comment. This is and apologies. This is just me thinking out loud. I'm not sure that this video has any point whatsoever. I just I read these articles week after week. I talk to creators every day. Everybody is scared. Retailers scared. Creators scared. Even some of the publishers, in moments of honesty, scared. So this is to the editors. What now? I'm not asking you to self-immolate. I'm just asking, what's the pathway out of here? Because something got to change and quick.